kids. So
sometimes it comes loose, and I'm wondering if it may be loose and that's why you don't have audio or video, but I don't know.
I don't either, Sarah. I have no idea. So
We'll do it this way. This will work just fine.
Yeah, this will be okay for the time being. Okay, it looks like it's loading up to YouTube.
okay.
And that's why you don't have audio or video, but
All right, that's just because it's a lag. All right, I'm going to turn
I
off.
don't either, Sarah.
Okay, I turned off the YouTube and I'm going to trust that it's still going. So if somebody doesn't mind just double checking and making sure that I haven't lost it by just turning it off, if that's all right.
Okay, can somebody answer me? Do we have a quorum yet? I can see.
Yeah, I will. So
2,
right now
3.
we have April's just joining right now. We
Okay.
have Mike Hightower, Nancy Catherman, Victoria Allen, Walter Winslet, Caroline Noya, David Harrington, and Sarah O'Brien. So is
Okay.
that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's all 9 of you.
I can see some of you on my screen. Walter, Victoria, David, April, you.
Okay.
Just wanted to be sure. Okay, so are we ready to start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, would like to call the meeting to order, but first I should say that notice is hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act. Vernon's
Did we lose Carol?
Seems to.
Carol, are you there? Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry. I got you. I'm sorry. My fault. My technical, sorry. Pardon me. Carol, I'm sorry. Can you, I'm trying to do, okay. Do you mind, if you don't mind, start over with the notice. It was, I made a mistake, but yeah.
Okay. All right. So notice is hereby given pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act, Vernon's some kind of civil statutes, Article 6252-17, that the City of Smithville will conduct a historic preservation and design standards committee meeting on Wednesday, November 18th, 2020 at 5:30 p.m. And so I would like to call the meeting to order and also verify that we have a quorum present.
Yes, and you do have a quorum present. Thank you.
Yes. And so now the second item on the agenda is announcements, presentations, proclamations, awards, and welcome to new returning members. I don't have anything to cover there. Does anybody else?
So if you did
No.
want to say anything, go ahead. Yeah, but welcome.
We
Basically,
were all
welcome to you all.
reappointed.
And thank you all for being part of this again. I just wanted to say as your liaison, I really appreciate all y'all signing up for another 2 years of working on this committee. And it's been my honor and pleasure to work with you. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 years.
And I would like to second that. All right. Then we do have number 3 on the agenda is a procedural thing that we need to do because there was something at the end of the meeting on November the 4th that we neglected to do, which is that was the meeting where we discussed Hannibal Lecumbus Mosaic on Mosaic Art and Home building at the corner of Main and 3rd Street. The procedure was asking about did we have discussion and action, and we really had no action taken. So we were informed later that we do need to say that even though we had no action taken. So could I have a motion that calls for an action of no action taken to complete the agenda for the November 4th, 2020 meeting?
I will make that note. Oh, I'm sorry. I will make that
gonna-
motion.
Apologize. I think that was my fault that we didn't do it right. So I wanted to apologize, but I'll second Nancy's motion.
Okay.
Okay.
My motion
Motion has been
is
made and
to
seconded.
take
Exactly. Yeah,
no action on the item discussed on the whatever meeting, 11/4/20 meeting.
All right. Do I have a vote? Yes.
I think if
Yeah.
everybody will raise their hand since we're.
Everyone raise their hand if you're in
Thank you.
approval of that.
So I'm
I can't tell if you can see my
Mike,
hand.
Walter.
I can see everybody. I can't see, I think that's Carol, but is anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries.
All right, motion carries. And then number 4 on the agenda is that we probably need to approve the meeting minutes for, is that August 15th, and also November the 4th of this year. Do I have any comment on those minutes?
On the July 15th minute, where it said I seconded the motion, it was on the third item, I believe. I don't remember who made the motion.
Fourth item. Yes, on the agenda.
Yeah, but it was at the July meeting.
Oh,
So do you want me to share the screen with the minutes? Carol, I sent out the minutes earlier today. Did you get an email with that?
I don't think I did.
And I think
I
that
did not either.
I did. I'm sorry.
Carolyn is saying is that the minutes just reflect a second. It does not reflect the
Who
motion.
made the motion, right?
I sort of think that I did, but I don't remember. April, I don't know.
I'm sorry, which one was that? Because I can just pull out the written ones.
It's
The July.
number 3
July 15th.
on the bullets in the minutes, number 3.
Actually, it's number 4 on the bulletin.
So-
That's the July 15th one?
Well, they're two different ones. The July 15th and November 4th.
Right, but they're making a correction to the July 15th minutes.
Is
right
that the number 3 one?
It's the number 3 bullet on the minutes that we got electronically.
Okay, I'm sorry. This says April moved and this one says that April moved on
I gotta
that,
go get-
whatever number 3 was. I'm not
Okay.
looking at the minutes. I'm sorry. I have to look at them.
So April moved and I seconded.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the July 15th minutes with that correction.
I second.
A motion has been made and seconded that we approve the July 15th minutes. All in
With-
Okay,
favor?
hang on a second. Let me write this down. Hang on a second.
Sure.
The change is at number 3, add in April moved. And then who moved? Was that Sarah? Did you move to accept?
Yes. Sarah
And
moved,
who seconded?
Caroline.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And then on the, I will move that we accept the November 4th minutes as presented.
Well, there were several typos. It does not change the substance of the stuff, and I can get with you with the typos afterwards if you'd like. It's like, video, or it's just like an incomplete spelling of the word. So I can.
Thank you, Carol. No problem. Let me know. I was in a hurry, so.
I
let me
know.
if I had some
But-
typos.
The content is the same. So if you moved, I'll second.
Excuse me, but I did not receive the 11/4 minutes.
I'm
In fact,
sorry, I'm looking for, I just sent them earlier today, Nancy.
Today.
I thought I had sent
I
them to
I
everybody.
just went back to get my cell phone and I don't have that I received any.
Okay, let me just, I'm gonna
'Cause
forward
on my
this to you right
iPad.
now.
Pardon?
I apologize. I'm gonna just forward
okay.
the minutes to y'all right now. Was there somebody else said that they didn't get it?
I don't know.
Okay.
Carol, I don't think Carol got them.
Oh, Carol,
Yeah.
right. Okay, I'm
I
gonna
didn't-
forward this to you
think
right
I
now
got
too.
that.
I apologize for that. I thought that it,
That's okay.
And on the July 15th, it didn't have an end date, an end time on it as well, if that was. It
I
lasted
showed,
about a half an hour.
I showed 2 adjourn times on the July 15th minutes that I got emailed. One says meeting adjourned at 6:15 p.m. immediately under the text. And then at the bottom of the page, another one says adjourned at 6 p.m.
Yeah, it's the first one. The second one is because I was using a different one. I promise I'll do better. I apologize.
Okay,
I was in a hurry.
that's quite all
Sorry.
right.
Just strike through the bottom one at the bottom of the page.
Got it.
Are you guys all okay with that, or do you need me to share the minutes?
I think they want to see the November 4th
This
ones.
is November 4th one? Okay.
Yep.
1 second. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing those, and then I'll start sharing November minutes.
I sent that to you as a Word document, Jill. I guess you
Yeah,
could
I
just,
got it.
if anybody has any changes, you could put them in right now.
Oh, okay, I can do that. Okay, so here's the November 4th. Can you all see that other than Carol, who's on my telephone?
Yeah,
No,
presidential.
I can see it on the screen.
Oh, well, excellent. Okay.
Yes, I can see now all of you on the screen, and including the minutes here, which I'm
Okay.
reading.
Oh, I see a change up at the top, Jill. It needs to say 4 guests, not 3 guests.
Sorry, where is this now? Up at the
3
top?
guests after Sarah's name.
Oh, okay, 4
put
guests.
4 guests, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And then presentation of a video by Stephanie.
Yeah, that
Okay.
needs to be corrected.
Video, all right.
And there was a,
So this is technical, but I don't know that Jill and Robert are considered guests. They're just staff. Just FYI for future.
Well, you could put 4 others or something. I don't know. I always just put who all was there.
You know what? I didn't go back to, I can't find it now. Just a second. Wait a minute. Okay, under, I don't know which it is. It starts out Nancy Catherman. And the last sentence says objects to the location. I never objected to the location. I've noted that it was a different location than the center of the building, as I originally thought. I have no objections to the location anywhere on that building.
So if I say noted the location is different than she expected, is that okay? Then,
Then I expected it to be, yes. The location of the building.
okay. Okay. How does that?
Take the E off of Carol's name, Carol Snyder. Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, yes.
And Nancy Catherman has 2 N's, I think, M-A-N-N, right, Nancy?
Pardon?
Are you M-A-N-N or M-A-N? Catherman.
M-A-N.
Okay.
You're moving it a little faster than I can.
Sorry, I thought okay, you want me to?
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
I
This is my 3rd Zoom meeting today. So, and
All right, have we corrected everything that needs to be?
as far as I can see.
I remember there was something else. I can't remember what it was.
Well, if you want to get back to me, if like you said,
Yeah.
it's not substantive, just get
We
back.
don't need to spend time correcting that.
Oh.
It didn't change the substance of the minutes.
Well,
Okay.
I believe that Nancy's edit did, and so I think you technically need to vote that first motion down or rescind it because.
Okay, it was my motion, so I'll table my original motion and I'll tender a brand new motion, accepting the minutes as presented. If we can, does that work?
as corrected or something.
That's correct.
Works for me.
So we need a second.
Oh, I'll second. Caroline seconds.
All right, all in favor? It's been, motion has been made and seconded.
Did we vote on, that's for voting for both sets of minutes?
We already voted on the first set.
Voted and,
Sarah moved and Caroline seconded.
but we
Then
didn't,
on this, that was the 7:15 as, with changes. And then on the fourth, the ones for the fourth, we tabled the first motion, then did a new motion,
but
and
we
it's been
didn't call
approved.
for a vote for the first set of minutes. We made a motion, it was on the floor. I don't know that we called for a vote, so we just need to call for a vote to approve both sets of minutes as the motions were presented.
I thought we had approved the first one, but if we haven't, we need to, yes.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to accept the July 15th minutes with changes as noted. The motion was made by April Daniels, seconded, no, pardon me. The motion was made by Sarah O'Brien with a second by Caroline Noya. All in favor, please indicate by raising your hand. Any opposed?
I indicate yes.
Okay, all approved. We have a motion to accept the 11/4/2020 minutes. Motion was made by April Daniels, seconded by Caroline Noya. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
This is Carol.
Motion carries.
All right. So we now have caught up with both of those meeting minutes. Okay, so we're on to number 5. And this is going to be the discussion and action, any discussion and action on determining new board positions. This is the end of our second year. And Jill, am I correct that, or Robert or whoever is there, that the committee is supposed to meet for 2 years. And then again, we can, at the end of that 2 years, we will meet again, but we may change officers or committee members or whatever. So what we need to look at is determining board positions for our chair, our vice chair, and our secretary. And I would like to put that on the floor for a motion, or someone would like to nominate for each position or for any of the positions.
Who's the vice chair?
I don't really know.
I think it was Nancy, but I'm not positive anymore. That was 2 years ago. And I'm not in the office. I could look that up just to confirm for the next set of minutes, but
I don't recall that.
okay.
And maybe because you were on P and Z, I don't think it,
Oh, maybe, yeah.
yeah,
No, I was chairman of P&Z, but
right. So I think that's,
having been chairman for close to 2 decades, I still sit on P&Z, but just as a voting member. I'm finished with chairing.
Well, I guess
Anything.
we can start with chair. Carol, do you want to continue as chair?
No, April, I don't. I was just
Okay.
getting ready to interrupt to say that. I have had some health issues. No, nothing is serious, but I just feel like I need to back off for a while of some of the things I've been doing. And so, no, I am pulling my name from consideration for any of these right now.
Okay, so does anyone want to make anyone want to nominate anyone for chair?
I would like to nominate Sarah O'Brien for chair, if she will accept that.
I will, only for you, Carol.
I'll second that then.
Are there any other nominations from the committee, from the group for chair besides Sarah O'Brien? Okay, nomination. So Carol is the existing chair I don't know if she can make the motion. I think someone else has to make the motion.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So,
Okay, this is Nancy, and I will make the motion to nominate Sarah O'Brien as chair.
I will second that nomination. Second that motion, rather.
okay. We have a motion and second for Sarah O'Brien to be the new chair. Can we take a vote on that now, please?
Jill, can you unshare the minutes? It's really hard for me to see everybody with those on the screen.
Sure, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
Can
that's-
everybody raise your hand again that's in agreement with Sarah O'Brien being the chair? Anyone opposed?
Yes.
Okay, does that mean Sarah is now the chair? Does she become right now the chair? Jill, anybody know the answer to that?
She is.
I believe that that's the case, that she's turning over, right? Or
Yes,
Sarah?
she does. She's the chair now.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn it over to you to run the rest of this meeting.
Okay, well, thank you very much, April. So we need a vice chair and a secretary, and we can do that in one set of nominations if you guys want, or we can do it separately. So do we have any volunteers? April, would you be interested in continuing to serve?
I would be honest with you, I'd rather be vice chair if that's okay with everybody.
I can't nominate you, but someone should nominate you for vice chair then.
I'll nominate April Daniels as vice chair.
And I'll nominate Caroline Noya as secretary.
I'll second both those motions.
Nancy's gonna second both of those. That's great. Okay, so we have to let's do those separately since April nominated Caroline and Caroline nominated April. So all those in favor with the motion by
Oh,
Caroline.
I'm sorry, hang on just a second, Sarah. I've got that I nominated Caroline as secretary. Who seconded that?
Nancy.
And then
I did.
Caroline nominated me, and who seconded that?
Nancy.
I did.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So let's call to vote April Daniels as vice president. Everybody in favor, please raise your hand. Carol, you can vote now.
My hand. This is Carol. I'm raising my
All right. Any opposed? Great. Motion carries. And now there's a motion on the floor by April nominating Caroline to serve as our secretary. So all those in favor, please raise your hands. Very good. And say yes if you're Carol.
yes.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Motion passes. Thank you, guys.
April, can you continue the minutes?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'll finish these.
Thank you.
And Carol, I just thank you so much for your service and commitment, not only to this committee, but to all things Smithville. And I hope you have a little bit more time on your hands to do the things that you love, but we're not letting you go anywhere too far away just yet. So,
Oh, thank you very much, Sarah. I appreciate that.
all right.
Really, it's been fun, but just need to, back off a little.
Thank you, Carol.
Number 6 is just a reminder about our Open Meeting Act training, and my apologies to the city manager and the mayor for having a conniption fit earlier this week. But if you have not taken this yet, you just, for me to sleep at night, I need you guys to get on the internet. It's about an hour training. It's great symphonic music background that'll really keep you entertained, but it's required by state law that every appointed board member by any local government has this training. So there's certain legal requirements that we have to adhere to. And so I know there's a couple of folks that have not yet taken it. Jill sent out the link earlier this week. And so if you guys would take the time to do that prior to our next meeting, that would be very appreciative of that. So number 7, we have a COA application from Miss Marcella Frutel, and it's for a replacement of an awning at 202 Main Street. Have we heard from the applicant, Jill? Do we?
No, I was just resending it to her.
Okay.
I'm not sure if she, I'm not positive. I didn't get a response, so I'm not positive that she got the initial. Anyway, I'm trying to get her back on, see if we can, because I noticed she was not on as a participant right now.
I know we're going to talk about the application of the next agenda item, but there's no historic information on here. So I don't know what type of awning was on this building previously. And I'm assuming that that should exist somewhere.
Well, I'm not positive. David might be able to answer that a little bit better if there's any photos. But one thing I can say is that the property right next to her on both sides are doing the exact same awning that she's proposing. And so, it would make a more consistent look. And I believe that both of them have already gone through the process to be able to make sure that it's consistent with the COA and with the encroachment and so forth. So, so that's what I can tell you about that. I don't know if David, if you wanted to talk about the history, or Carol.
I would like to say something about it. If David is welcome to also, but I'm not sure if that very building has that style of awning. But I do know, and we have pictures of other buildings downtown during the historic periods that had that style, the style that she is asking for. So I think all along there have been some buildings with awnings and some buildings with the on the stand like she's requesting. David, do you agree with that, or?
He's nodding yes. He doesn't have his mute off, but he is nodding yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
So we'll
if,
entertain a
Madam Chairman.
Yep.
Madam Chairman, I went by the building, and it will be putting these 4 posts. There are not 4 posts at that building at this time, but there are posts on the adjacent buildings. Also, this building this awning is going to be, right now, these 2 windows that you see are covered by the existing awning. So these will be under, and will open up those windows, which are really kind of neat to look at. I had 2 questions. One of my questions is, and my concern with all of those is ADA, if that will, but most of those posts would come under grandfather because they're the original posts on the adjacent awnings, it looks like. This existing awning does not have posts that it's connected to. That's what they're wanting to do. As I said, my only concern would be ADA, but these are, I'm sure these would be in line with the existing ones. So I don't know. Secondly, what I'm interested in is this going to be a canvas awning
Metal.
or metal or what? I didn't read anything that gave me that info.
It said she wanted to replace the existing canvas with a 4-post metal awning. I would like to use posts as well
so
as
then
tension rods.
Okay, I've got her. Can you see her COA? I've got it up on my screen. I'm trying to share with y'all.
yes, I have that.
Okay, and then
I'm on the Zoom call.
so she's got the existing. And then this was her proposal. I don't know if I can.
No, you can't, because it's
Everybody
inside of an
tilt your
existing
head.
studio.
So, but you can kind of see it's a flat awning like the other ones. You can see it's got the metal roofing like the other ones do. And then here's the 4 posts that she's talking about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't shift it 90 degrees, but that's
The awning itself is consistent with many other awnings on Main Street, but I'm not sure about the posts. Nancy and Carol and David, are you all saying that those posts are consistent with other awnings and the look of the historic look?
It's
I walked it and, yes, it looks like we won't know until they're put down. There's no indication that there have ever been posts there before. I am assuming that these would be consistent with the posts on the abutting buildings or the
Yeah.
adjacent buildings.
And
There
the problem
are-
is the application, and this is on us, and I know we're going to address the application later in the agenda, is it's really incomplete because we don't, as a body, have enough information. And I agree, the awning is going to look great and be like the other ones in that we would most likely should approve it. But unfortunately, I don't know that we have enough information in this application to give us all of that detail.
Because Nancy raised the same questions I had about ADA compliance. And then also what kind of posts are they? Wood, metal, concrete, plastic? I mean.
And what color metal? You know, metal is a broad term as well. And so it's a metal awning. Well, you know, is it alloy? I mean, alloy is probably not going to look as good as, some of the other metals that we could have over there. So,
And I assume on the ADA thing, that's really something the city has to approve. We established our sidewalk guidelines on ADA that it has to be at least 36 inches
Right,
for wheelchair compliance.
right.
Other than that, we don't really have any authority over ADA as this particular group, other than that it needs to be consistent with our guidelines for the 36-inch clearance.
Yes, April, and I was about to say the same thing. I don't know if the city has done their evaluation or whatever, because they have to give permission of whatever covers or goes over the sidewalk. So
has she?
I just wondered if that had been done yet.
Well, right. You're right, Carol. And that's a separate thing the city has to do where they enter into an agreement, an encroachment agreement.
Yeah, it's a license agreement. And has she submitted that paperwork to anyone? Jill, Robert, do you guys know?
I thought that,
We do first.
I thought that we had, I didn't attend the meeting last night, but I thought that was something that was in the city's. Robert and Scott, if you could address that, because I don't remember hearing it either way. But I thought that we were working with Jennifer to make sure that got on the last agenda that it was available for, which would have been the 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago.
Well, if I may add something to this, I think it's incumbent on this committee to take into consideration what the city already figures as what April was talking about.
Yeah.
Is the those distances. We can't just say, oh, this will look okay. We have to look to see that it complies with the existing ordinance. Otherwise, we're going to have a mess at city council. They're going to have a mess at city council because they're not going to want to make exceptions to a federal law.
Robert, can you hear this discussion?
Yeah, it's coming in and out, but basically, you don't have enough information to approve this application at the time. You don't know how far the posts go out to the sidewalk, if they're going to interfere with the 3-foot clearance that you've already established. Yeah, so that's where I am on it.
So I'd entertain a motion to table this application.
I'll make the motion to table the application at 202 Main Street by Marcella. Is it Fotel?
Yeah.
Marcella Fotel, yeah.
Fotel, okay.
Do I have a second?
I'm the second queen, so I mean, let else.
All right, everybody in favor, go ahead and tabling it. Please raise your hand.
Raising my hand.
Anybody opposed? All right. Thank you guys very much. Jill-
Sarah, before we move on, is there something now that we have to like go back to the applicant or something?
I was just gonna offer Jill, Jill, if you want, to chime her in on an email and include me, I'm happy to get on the phone and explain to her what it is that we need.
Okay.
Moving forward. So just
Perfect.
call her.
Okay, thank you. I will.
It looks like Walter needs to unmute. You can't unmute yourself, Walter. You can't.
Walter,
Walter, you're muted. Do you know how to unmute yourself?
Let me see if I can unmute him from here. I'm not sure if I can. Hang on.
You-
I'm
There,
sorry.
you got it.
I'm
There you
sorry.
Very good.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I did walk the street today and there's about 10 4x4 posts on this side of Main Street that are holding up awnings, and there's 4 that are that look good and historic, and the rest of them look like, kind of temporary, just shoddy workmanship kind of. And what I like about Marcella's, the building is it's a mate to the one next door, the other Yerger Hill hardware building. And it's, they put this nice awning up there, and I think it'd be great if she puts one up that is equal to the one that's 202 Main Street. And she's at 204, I think.
202.
yes, this is 202.
But I guess, she said in her application that she wanted to put up tension rods and posts. Now, the one on the corner just has tension rods, like the one at our Mosaic building just has tension rods. And it's so much more open and so much less likely to cause a conflict with ADA requirements and wheelchair use, in general, which is something that we have a disabled son. So I know down there on the 100 block of Main Street, how there's the bakery down there. Sometimes there's tables on the sidewalk and posts beyond it, and it gets really, really tight and probably less than 36 inches. But anyway, I hope we can encourage Marcella to not use posts. That's really all I was saying.
Well, and Walter, you're welcome as a member of this committee and a downtown property owner to have conversation with any citizen about items like that if you'd like.
Oh, okay. Well, I just think I was hoping the board would consider that and talk to her about it. But that's all. That's all I had.
So what I could do is just say as a recommendation that the committee would like to recommend that she only goes with the tension rods and not the posts. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think that we can, and I don't know that we can or can't do that necessarily. I think that, first of all, we need a complete application because we don't understand, if it's or is it, and we need more details first. I think the safest bet is just for Walter to have an offline conversation with her as a neighbor down the street about the look and feel that he likes. And, everyone on this committee, I think, would tend to be more supportive of something that's going to allow better access.
Sarah, this is Robert. One comment I'll make before y'all move on to the next item. If the posts are aligned with the other posts and they're of adequate material, there is no conflict with ADA.
Right.
But I don't think you have that side dimension as to where the posts are actually going.
No.
Is that correct?
Correct.
So I'm trying to be creative here so she doesn't have to wait. Could you possibly do something conditional, approve it on a conditional basis that doesn't interfere or aligns with the other posts and is of a material that is compatible with others in the area?
That's relating to question, excuse me, a question that I had is on the motion that was just made by me. I'm wondering if we should also amend that to itemize the things that were of concern to us, so there won't be any problem in her understanding,
Yeah, we
or
can absolutely.
us in a year or whatever.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that we need to be very specific, which is why, and I understand that there is a time constraint. I think with virtual meetings, we're able to, and I know Jill, bless her heart, has had to post enough agendas and stuff lately, but I don't know that we have enough information, Nancy, to amend your motion in each of the specific categories and then add conditions. That seems like that may just get us in.
Well, not actually add conditions, but say this is the information, this is the area we need more clear information.
And it's up to you guys. So y'all, we can do that.
I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, but
So we've got two options on the floor, which is to amend the motion that Nancy made to be more specific about the information that we need in detail from her, or to take the city manager's recommendation is to make a conditional approval if the awning style and placement mimics those that are already.
an actual motion has not been made.
Correct.
The city manager can't make a motion.
No. I said that those are two options. Right.
And I would tend to agree that we should not make a building owner wait another month before we come back and say, what if at that time there's still something else because we weren't really specific? I would tend to say that we approve it conditionally based on that it be ADA compliant, that it have the look, feel, and consistency of the other of the neighboring buildings, something along those lines. Unless we all just don't want it to be there at all.
But so is that a motion, April?
What I said was I would tend to go that direction, but I would like to hear some discussion.
So we have a motion on the floor to table it that we.
Mike,
Mike's trying to talk, but he's muted. You got to unmute, Mike.
So we need to vote that one down.
Mike, are you? Okay.
All right, now, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I agree with Robert. I think our position as a committee is to determine whether it's historically appropriate. And I believe there's enough awnings to show that is the case. And her drawing indicates that it's going to be similar to the ones next door to her. The provisional thing would be that we do not have a distance from the building to the curb, how far out those posts are.
Right.
And if the condition is that it meets the 3.5 foot ADA compliant rule, then I don't see any reason why we shouldn't allow her to do it. And I think we can put that provision in on the motion that she just needs to meet that ADA compliance. But you know, I think the awning itself is historically appropriate.
So I think what we need to do is vote on Nancy's original motion to table the item. Was that in Caroline's second? And we can, vote that down. And then there can be a new motion made. Or if you guys want to continue to table it, you can, vote that motion forward, and then we'll know which way to go. Does that sound?
Yeah. So Sarah, it's been moved and seconded on the tabling. Do you want to call for a vote?
Yes, I do. So Nancy made a motion to table this item. Caroline seconded. So if you're in favor of tabling it and asking the applicant to come back at a future meeting, go ahead and raise your hand. Okay. We got one, Victoria. All those opposed to that motion?
I am.
Carol, I'm sorry, how were you voting?
Yeah.
You were voting to table or to vote to oppose to table?
Well, I thought
Jill, are you okay?
Sorry.
Did you fall
I'm
over?
fine. No, my cat, I'm sorry. My cat pulled something over. We had a slight,
Carol voted she said yes to when I asked if you're in favor of tabling it.
Yes, okay.
But if you're in favor of voting no to table it, she said yes to that. So I believe that her yes was a nay, if that's.
That is the one I was.
Correct. Okay, sorry.
So that, so that motion is dead. So now I'd like to entertain another motion if anyone is interested in making one.
Mike, can you say, you did a good job. Will you make the motion?
All right, I motion that we accept the application for the new awning with the provision that the posts meet the ADA compliant 3 feet. Is that what we have from the building?
I would just say ADA compliance. And then there was also discussion, Mike, about the posts and the metal matching and mimicking those around it. So that, because we don't know what type of metal they're going to be and stuff right now. So I don't know.
Well,
Okay, wait, I'm going to
I
read
guess
this
my
back to
feeling
you.
on,
Materials.
I don't know how to how to respond to that. I would think that there's enough variations of materials and post materials that it would be something that would be hard for us to dictate. I guess historically they're wooden, so we could put in there that the posts be wooden as one of the provisions. But there's some decorative wooden posts, and like Walter was saying, there's some that are not, and so we can't really bind her to be one way or the other, I don't believe.
Does she say in her drawing what the posts are made out of? No?
No. We don't have to say she has to comply with certain posts. What we're looking for is information. We want an expansion on the definition of the metal
Not
she's
for
going to be using.
not
What-
for this motion, Nancy, because this motion is to approve it on the condition that it meet ADA requirements. And that's Mike's motion as of right now. What
Okay,
Robert had discussed was it is possible for us to make a motion that requires ADA compliance and requires the applicant to use building materials that fit in and look similar to those that are already in place next to it.
Who's going to
That
make that
sounds good.
determination?
That's a very good point, April.
How is that determination going to be made? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
it should be made by the committee.
So we're back to tabling it until we get those. But now Sarah, now at least we have all agreed on the things that we want
Well, I
to know
don't
about.
know. I mean, that's just my opinion.
So what we can do is, get a second on Mike's motion and conditionally approve it that it meets ADA requirements so she can begin the construction portion, but that she needs to submit to us, building materials that she's going to use. And they can't install that portion of the awning. I haven't built a lot of awnings, but I think that she could go ahead and pull her permit and start the process that way. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
Well, I believe historically, there's posts that are wooden, there's posts that are metal. I don't see that we can really dictate one or the other.
Yeah, but if she goes and gets a bright silver alloy metal that just got fabricated, that's not necessarily historically accurate, and that's not necessarily going to match the aesthetic and the feel. And so, just because it's of wood or just because it's of metal, I don't necessarily think that it fits in automatically. And I don't have any doubt that she's not going to do something that looks good and is aesthetically pleasing and in line with everything else the rest of the district, but we just don't know.
Well, I
Well,
certainly
I think
agree
in the motion, then we should put that we require ADA, or we expect it to be ADA compliant and made of materials that are historically consistent.
There you go.
So aluminum is not, so that would.
You say subject to the approval of the committee.
Yeah, who's going to make that determination is the question.
Well, we
Well-
have the materials listed in our design guidelines, so
Could that be an administrative approval?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, it's
So
gonna
she
be
can
after
then
the
just
fact.
come get
She's
it,
gonna-
she could just come and get an administrative approval for like what the metal looks like and based on the existing guidelines.
correct.
Is everybody okay with that?
Well, my question is then why the heck are we meeting and considering it? If it's gonna be, everything's gonna be through the administration, which they
I don't
should get the final approval.
I think for this item, because this is on us for our application,
That's just my comment.
not being more clear about the information that we need to make an informed decision. And because this is a business owner and we don't want to delay the inevitable, I think that the discussion that I think I hear is like to go ahead and conditionally approve it with ADA and let her, this application, come back on the building materials administratively so that she's not held up by us having to, have a quorum and meet again, post official notification and such. I don't think that it's for every awning from here on out to go administratively. Is everybody?
So my thoughts are that the committee is split on this and we probably should vote. And then if it doesn't pass, we can table it again. Why don't we do that?
Mike, will you reiterate your complete motion or state your complete motion for us?
I motion that we accept this application for a new awning with the provisions that the post meet ADA requirements as their distance from the wall, and that the posts be consistent with the same materials that would be used historically.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Walter's gonna second that motion. All of those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, keep your hands raised.
Okay, wait a minute. So that's Caroline, David, and
Mike, Victoria, Walter, Carol,
I'm saying yes to Carol.
and Carol, yes. Okay. All those opposed, April votes yes as well.
opposed.
I'm opposed because I don't think it covers enough.
Is anyone else opposed?
Probably not.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy, though. We're going to get that hopefully corrected on the next agenda item. So motion passed. And Jill, if you'll include myself and on the email with the applicant, and we can call Mike and Walter or Nancy to meet us down there if we need to, just to see what's going on, if she has questions for us.
Absolutely.
All right, item number 8. No, item number
8.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Item number 8. We're going to discuss COA a little bit later. This is just an update on the Historic City Marker Program, and I apologize. This was discussed at our February 2020 meeting, and we were rocking and rolling, and then COVID hit, and it just fell to the wayside. But we have picked this back up and gotten some information from other programs to make some tweaks and some changes. I don't have anything for you guys, but I'm going to circle around with Carol now that she's got some free time on her hands to revive that work, and hopefully we can make the changes and bring you guys back something probably at our January meeting instead of December.
Sarah, is this an application or something?
Yeah, we have an existing application, April, and we had there was some confusion last winter about the application. We had made some minor changes, but we wanted to take a look and make some additional changes to that application. And I've
Got it.
in, but I'll pull up those notes and make sure that we do what we had intended to do.
Okay.
Item number 9, discussion and action on the guidelines and procedures for this board. And this is just really, I think, a friendly reminder for everyone. We do have and Jill, I don't know if you have that handy or not to pull up, but Jill, thank you very much. She resent it out to everybody this week. we're given our authority by city council as an advisory committee. And so there's certain things that we can and cannot do, and certain things that we are supposed to consider, and certain things we are not. And so I'm a big believer in policy and purpose. And I think that it's important for us to understand what ours is. And, you know, the good thing about policy is if it's not working for us, we can request changes to it. And so just since we all just got reappointed, I encourage you to read through this. And if you see anything that is not on there, or any changes that you would like to see, that we as a committee can talk about those at our next meeting. And if everybody so desired, we could then make a request to city council for any type of changes to that.
I hit share for it. Can you see the?
I can, yes, ma'am.
Yep. Okay. Did you want me to scroll through it, or are you okay with
Just
just?
for the general public, I mean, no, you don't have to. It's just really an overview information item on the agenda. So
I
I want to put in a question about compensation. Are you sure we're not going to be compensated by the city?
no,
for
they run a tough ship, right?
on the procedural guidelines under A, is it says any member absent from 3 consecutive meetings. Is that the regularly scheduled meetings, or if there's special called meetings?
And that's a great question. It's not clarified in there, and so that may be a change that we want to clarify.
Right.
And I also am a big believer in, you know, I think there's a difference between an absence and an excused absence.
Right.
And so I think that, you know, I'd like to see our secretary work with another volunteer to kind of review these and see if there's any other changes that we want to make, and then we can discuss those as a whole at our next meeting.
Okay. Nancy, Walter, Mike, you want to volunteer with me?
No,
Sure.
Yay! Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you both.
no,
Next
I
week.
worked on the, no.
Okay. Awesome.
Nancy, we've done a lot of work together on these documents and the applications, haven't we?
Yeah.
Anytime you have a new group, this is all, you know, stuff that we're learning along the way, but the policy is important. It's the foundation for which we make all of our decisions. And so I preach that all the time in my other life. And I just think we want to make sure that our policy suits who we are today, because these were written in 2017. And so we wanted to go back to that. All right, I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah, sorry. So it says discussion and action. I don't want you guys to be left without taking an action. So I guess this is, it's either a no action vote, or action would be to create a subcommittee, or I'm not sure how you want to phrase that, but.
Yeah, I'd like to entertain a motion for the subcommittee to be made to work on these for us.
I will move that a subcommittee be created that consists of Caroline, Noya, Nancy, Catherman, and Walter, I think she said.
Yes.
I do not wish to serve on that committee.
Oh, okay, hang on.
Victoria, David, Mike, anybody else want to? Nobody gets excited about policy like I do.
David's raising his hand.
Oh, good. Sorry, I'm looking at the other screen right now. Okay, perfect.
Thank you, David.
All right, do I have a second on April's motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mike.
All those in favor of forming the subcommittee to review these? Raise your hand.
Hey, Jill, can you close that?
I need a second.
I'm sorry, is everybody approved? Oh,
Everybody.
yes, Nancy, I thought you were.
Except we don't know about Miss Carol yet.
Carol, you there?
Carol, me?
Yes. So they're voting on creating a subcommittee to look at the guidelines and procedures.
Yes, I'll vote yes to do that.
She's not on it. Yay. All right. Motion passes unanimously then. All right. Let's, and I apologize, Jill, you would have let me know if we had any public comment signed up, correct?
Correct. And yes, you're right. And thank you for reminding me, but I hadn't heard any.
Okay, I figured as much, but I thought I'd point that out. Number 10 is discussion and action on the revision of our COA application and refining the process. We learned a lot at our November 4th meeting, and I think we learned some additional things today. And so I know that there are some changes that we've discussed as far as ensuring our motions include more specificity. But I'd also, based on the application we received tonight, really like to entertain a motion for a subcommittee to review this and come back with a draft revised application that incorporates all of those things, as well as a policy for how we approve the COAs and how we intake them and all that stuff. So I'm happy to serve on that subcommittee if somebody wants to make a motion to form one of those and get some willing victims to join me. Or y'all can make a motion to make changes tonight if you'd like.
There's not a lot of, Nancy, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right. The only things that I think under attached supporting documentation, for example, where it says material specifications, I think that should be required, and the design if it's a piece of art. I also think something we should also put in the document somewhere is that any changes to the design or the materials after approval have to be subjected to the city's approval.
Okay.
The city's
Not
approval or the
somebody. I mean, if we
committee's approval?
approve, we can make them come back to us, but if it basic is if it's materials that city they know what is allowable, and the design, if it's a drastic design change, then it would have to come back to us. I just feel we have to be in some ways similar to what Sarah said. I think we have to be very specific. We just went through a difficult time with some misunderstanding. I know with me, it's now settled because I had a nice long visit with Stephanie, but it still has left a very bad taste in my mouth because there shouldn't be any misunderstandings. Now, of course, we were dealing with something that we had minutes on from almost a year previous. So that's why I think one of the reasons we have to, because a lot of this could also involve materials that someone who's going to do a new build on any of those lots that are vacant on Main Street. So I just, those are two of the things I thought about, and maybe some other folks that I don't have the time to work on a committee with that right now.
Nancy, can you just repeat those kind of so I can put them in the minutes?
All right. You're really pressuring me on my memory. Basically, anyone who, to be specific about their material specifications for what they're using, probably even paints. We don't want somebody coming in and using a cheap paint that's going to be peeling. And so we've got to guard against that. I know it sounds petty, but it has to do with the appearance of what's happening. And I'm not saying it's happening, but one never knows. I also feel that at once the committee has approved something, if the owner or designer wants to make changes, they need to run it back by us to be sure it complies with everything again. And
Well,
back by us, or if it's materials, probably the city, but that's just some ideas that I had. I'm not saying they have to be mandatory or included. I just think from some recent experience, it would be a good idea. That's it.
and I
I
think
agree with
I'll be
everything
quiet.
that Nancy, I agree with everything Nancy just said.
I
I
do
think there's been too much, well, and I understand we haven't done a lot of these, but we need to be much more specific. In fact, I'll just say that I'm uncomfortable. I'm going along with the group, and I understand. And I said that I don't want a business owner to have to wait, but I completely understand Nancy's misgivings about allowing someone to put posts in without telling us what the materials are. I completely understand.
Yep.
And so we need to address that and be very, very specific, certainly moving forward.
Or in that case, not to beat a dead horse, but clarification on what the awning is going to be.
Right.
so.
Because I believe Sarah said that awning was supposed to be metal also, but it doesn't stipulate if it's going to be metal.
Well, actually, that COA does say metal.
It
The
says-
awning, it does say the awning will be, it'll replace a material awning with a metal awning. But what it doesn't say is what the posts are made out of.
So, I,
And that's the metal going to be painted,
yeah,
That's a good
or is it
question.
going to be natural? It's just these details that
we need to
it's
know.
like if you're
And
building a house. Now, granted, it's not our house, it's someone else's property.
Yeah.
But we want it to comply with certain,
Nancy, I know you don't have time to be on any more committees, but if we did an electronic, because of your experience with P and Z and the, details that are involved in that application, and April, because of your, connection to the business community, I'd really like to see you two ladies join me. I don't think we're ready to vote or make changes to the application. We'd be doing it a disservice if we did that tonight, because I think that there's a lot of
definitely.
preparations that we need to
Yeah.
make. So, if
That
we
was just-
do a bottle of wine, would you do it virtually with everybody, Nancy? Like, what do we need to do to get you to make some time to help us with that?
Why don't I get wine? What the heck?
I would,
I'll drink wine.
I would
I mean,
decline the bottle of wine. I do not like wine,
Oh,
but I'm not a teetotaler, as Victoria knows. But wine is not.
Well, Nancy,
But
hey, Nancy,
Walter,
could this all be resolved by requiring that people give a finished, artist rendering of what they're going to do on Main Street? I mean, that something that it's going to look exactly like this.
so the big cities require architectural professional drawings, and I don't know that we're at a place where we want to require.
Well, I don't either, and that's what got us into trouble, I think, on our art project. Is that,
well, but I don't think it's unreasonable, Walter, to say what color and what material. You can include that in a rendering and say with an arrow saying the awning's going to be red and made out of metal, and the posts are going to be black and made out of this material, and the tension rods are going to be gold or whatever. I don't think that
So-
kind of,
so
that-
maybe we just specify that part of the application has to describe all materials and how they will be used or something like that.
Yeah.
So Walter's going to be on this committee too, that somebody would like to make
I
before.
agree with
We've got a lot of work to do, and so I'd like for everybody to get home at a decent hour. I know the mayor and city manager are on, and they had a late night last night. So if somebody wanted to make a motion, we can send this to the committee, because I think there's also some procedural things, like a staff report that follows, that outlines the details from the meeting that goes to city council, because we're just making the recommendation. There's a lot of different things that we can do to really streamline this and make it easier for the applicants to understand, and make it easier for us as board members to make these decisions. So.
Okay, hang on. So the people on this committee are April, Carol, Sarah, and Walter. Anybody else?
I'm not Nancy.
Is this for the,
Oh, Nancy, I'm sorry. And Nancy, of course.
is this for
No.
the application?
No.
This
No.
is for the COA application and process.
I'll help with it if I can. Yeah, I'll be.
So I don't think you can. So we can't have more than,
Oh, there's so many people.
yeah.
Well,
Never mind, I'll
I really-
pass.
I decline on that. I have a lot of things going on in my personal and business life, and I just, my focus is whatever I can work during doing some of this and with PNC, but I don't want to be on any. I helped write most of this stuff. Sarah, you know that. In
I know.
April, we met in the middle of the night. or
Yes,
almost.
we did, didn't we? It was like so early. I slept down at the
I know.
building because Carol wanted to meet at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Well, it was sunup, and I just feel that I just don't want to go through that.
Well then,
No.
April.
So here's who's on the
A
committee.
bit of a
Okay,
break.
no problem,
It's-
Nancy. I understand. So we will
We need
will
a
just check in with you, Nancy, as we go through the process to get your
Okay.
expertise.
Nancy, would you make a motion to form this committee that you're not on?
Nancy, let me tell you who's on the
Make a
committee.
motion to form a committee to evaluate. Keep
Yep.
nodding.
Changes.
Evaluate
And revise.
and revise the certificate of appropriateness. And was there something else? And the
Process.
certificate of appropriateness.
And the people on that will be April, Carol, Sarah, Walter, and Caroline.
And I guess if it's at committee level, we're not taking any action. So I guess if
Right.
any of us want to be.
Okay, so Nancy
then I
made
don't
the
have-
motion. Who seconded?
I'll second it.
Mike, thank you.
All right. All those in favor of this going to the committee and then coming back at a later date with recommendations? Raise your hand if you're in favor.
Carol, are you in favor?
Yes.
Okay.
Carol, yes.
Motion passes unanimously. One item not on the agenda is our next meeting date. We would regularly meet this in December. We have a lot of work to do, so I think unless we get an application from somebody, we don't meet in December, and we try to bring all these changes back in January. If we-
The regular schedule is a quarterly meeting, not a monthly meeting.
Oh, well, thank goodness. Okay, well, good. We got plenty of time then. That I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make
So
a motion
moved.
to adjourn.
Nancy-
So, April moved, and second by whoever you want to write down. I think.
Yeah.
Second.
Got it.
I'll second it.
Mike seconded. Okay. All those in favor of adjourning? Say aye. Raise your hand.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you all. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you all.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.